Okay, so we are going to talk about resilience, and specifically resilience, how to achieve resilience in the world today. There's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of emotions that are running wild today. So how can we achieve resilience in these uncertain times? And I think what I'd like to do is start by having each one of you share what the definition of resilience is for you. We're going to start with you, Wajiha.
Hi, is this working?
Yes.
Yeah. To me, resilience is feeling the item, letting yourself be able to sit with what's happening. True resilience to me isn't about what is happening around. It's being able to, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out for right now.
It's okay. That's okay.
Can I pass on the mic to someone else?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And that's great to acknowledge it, because it's okay, right?
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Julie, let's have you share.
Sure. Resilience to me means a lot of things. And over the years, it's changed dramatically in meaning. I remember when I was a single parent in the queue at Netto's grocery store, wondering whether I would have enough money to pay for the nappies. Resilience at that time meant something totally different to what resilience meant when I was building my multi-million-pound portfolio. Resilience today means something totally different, because only a few months ago, I lost everything. I lost my law practice, I lost my legal career, I lost everything. So I think the resilience is something that evolves, and I've learned that resilience for me is reclaiming something that's inside of us, something that's inside so strong. So resilience goes beyond, the external things that are going out there. It's who am I? Who was I before they called me all these names, before they titled me solicitor? Who was I? So resilience is reclaiming the reality of who you truly are, something unbreakable.
Yeah, beautifully said, and absolutely. And resilience is being able to kind of shift. I call it being an emotional ninja, right? Where you're quick and nimble and flexible to move in and out of what's happening in your life. Because, folks, let's face it, life is not linear, right? It's going to be this zigzagged journey, and then you're going to end somewhere, right? And to go through that zigzagged journey, you've got to have focus, you've got to have purpose, you've got to have intention. You want to be very conscious and intentional of everything that you do. So what you just described is that exact ability, which is resilience. It's just being able to shift moment to moment to moment based on what's in front of you. Beautiful. Thank you, Julie. Diana.
Thank you, Micaela. I think resilience for me is really how you build grit, right? I mean, when you decide up front, like failure is not an option for me. I grew up, in an unstable environment. I grew up thinking life was hard, and then later became a single mom of 2 kids. And I think going through the motions that life has, challenges are inevitable, right? But when you decide up front that this is how it's going to be, I won't let this thing defeat me, I think that's huge, because that's where grit is born. You keep going through the thing and knowing just up front that, hey, it's only failure when you decide to give it up, to quit, right? Yes, you might have to pivot, and knowing that, hey, I have my bulletproof to rejection on today, because who knows what the day is going to bring, but I know how I'm going to choose to show up anyway. So you do it scared, right? You do it, and I think that's what builds your momentum of how you really allowed to build on grit, is that you're now that person that went through the ringer. You did the thing that was scary. You did the thing where you got rejected, but you keep going.
And you said the magic word, keep going. That is one simple thing that we can all do, and a lot of times we stop, right? And we maybe we get frozen by fear or frozen by overwhelm or the inability of managing our overwhelm, right? And keep going is essential. You just keep going through. Great.
Resilience for me, I want to mirror a lot that you said. It's being able to flow. It's being able to move in and out of different situations, experiences that are happening in life. But often, the resilience that we need, it often comes from digging deep and pushing through, which is quite a masculine energy to be in, and we've all been there, and it serves its purpose. But for me, personally, getting to the stage of resilience that I'm at just now, it was finding out who I am. It was finding out why I didn't have resilience in certain situations, why I was feeling fear, unworthiness, not confidence. And that all stems back to the emotional roots of the limiting beliefs that we have. So for me, marrying the emotions with the mindset is how I was able to create the unshakable resilience that I'm now able to coach my clients on. So it would be find out who you are. What prevents you from having that unshakable resilience already? And then do the work that you need to do in order to get yourself to that place of feeling emotionally and mentally strong, so that then the actions you take, they are in that place of alignment.
Yeah, and you said something really important, because it's the connection of the heart and the mind. You've got to make sure that both are connected. Most of us are driven by the mind, and we're disconnected by the heart. Maybe because it feels unsafe, maybe because it's too hard, maybe it's painful, right? But when we connect the mind with the heart and we can sync them up together, and now they're both driving, that is where we create miracles. So thank you for sharing that. What'd you have?
To me, resilience feels being able to feel what's happening without actually falling apart. To let that wave move through you without it meaning that you're weak or broken. Because when you stop abandoning yourself, you start to realize that you've always had the strength. You just didn't feel safe enough to feel it and see it.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. And I think you touched up on something really important, which is when we do find that maybe we're having a difficult time, or maybe we are experiencing a negative emotion, is to be mindful of not going into self-beat-up, right? How many ladies, I know you have, we've all had it, right? We've all done it. We beat ourselves up. We have this negative conversation with ourselves, some of us on a daily basis. And really that's where, through awareness, we can actually make the difference, is taking that breath and stopping and saying, okay, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to say that today, right? Okay, great. So my next question for you is, can you share a moment in your life that was challenging, that was maybe emotionally draining, maybe painful, that you were able to overcome, and how you overcame it? What do you have?
For me, it was the realization that I was having fertility issues, and it caused me to start thinking about what my life was, and did that mean that I wasn't enough if I couldn't reproduce, or I wasn't valid? And the idea of bouncing back from that internal pain is what broke me and created my new ground. And you don't bounce back to the way you started off with. You bounce back into something that empowers you. That's what my journey was.
Beautiful, thank you. Julie.
Where do I start?
I know. We got 19 minutes.
Well, yes. So life has presented a lot of difficult situations, but one that jumps to mind is when I was homeless and when I was sleeping in a payphone booth here in London, when everything just seemed so dark and there was just no light anywhere at all. Hope was something that was so distant, and I didn't really know what my next day would look like. But I learned 3 things. I learned that whatever you go through, it's not permanent. But the first step is acknowledging where you are and what you're going through, accepting it, embracing it, but knowing that the sun will shine again tomorrow, that it's going to be okay. So I think that's it.
Thank you, beautiful. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a silver lining, even when it's challenging and hard.
Yeah.
The key is focusing on the light at the end, right? Beautiful.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Diana.
Well, I have a lot of breakthrough moments. We don't have enough time for those, as so do you. And you will continue to have those breakthrough moments throughout your life. I remember being a single mom once upon a time after being divorced or married 7 years. And I remember pursuing real estate because I wanted to give my kids something that I never had growing up, which was really just stability. You know, we were 6 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment, basically until I was 17. And I remember being successful, breaking records for rookie agents that I was like, wow, this is crazy. I came from nothing. And I had enough money in my bank account to pay my mortgage for 6 months, but I was so broken inside. And I remember coming home just exhausted of always having to be on, of literally driving in the fast lane, of just feeling like I was surviving life because I was so scared of having the reality that I once had as a child with my struggling parents as entrepreneurs. And I remember just breaking down, crying in the bathroom, and just saying there has to be a better way. And it's the questions that you ask yourself that really is sometimes a breaking point. When I finally said, you know, there has to be something more to life than living like this. From the outside, I might have been so successful because I worked hard to not fail. And when you work so hard and you're successful for the wrong reasons, that could break you, right? And so I decided to enthrall myself, and I learned so much about the power of our minds. As Micaela said, when you take a control of your life, it doesn't have to be by default, where you're just rolling the dice and hoping it lands where you want it to land. You can live on purpose. You can have the things that you think are so unreachable. They're absolutely reachable and attainable. Success is great, but it's not just the money in your bank account. It's how you wake up every day, the way that you stop and breathe through it all. That really determines. And that was a breaking point for me, Micaela. And after that, I just learned so much in my own self-discovery. And I was able to then, you know, give up my real estate career, even though I love it, can do it with my eyes closed, to empower other people to really break free from that and be able to live their best lives and really make big things happen in a different way than they did otherwise.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Laura.
I've had quite a few moments in my life that have brought me to the gates of hell and back again. I've recovered from heroin addiction. I've grown up with an alcoholic mum. I've escaped abusive relationships by literally climbing out a window and running. The worst emotional thing that could happen to me, I believed, was comprehending the death of my father. And that happened just about 3 years ago. And what I thought would break me, because I mean, it was a subject I wouldn't even touch on the possibility of this happening, even though I knew it was inevitable. He was the keystone in my foundation. So to think about losing that keystone. Yeah, and it happened, and I actually knew it was going to happen subconsciously 2 weeks before it did. And then I got the news, and it was like, he has months to live. And I found this incredible strength in that moment. I don't know where it came, well, I do know where it came from. It came from the work that I've done to understand the roots of my emotional being and link that with my mindset. So being able to know myself, know the strengths, know the weaknesses, that is what helped me face the toughest emotional challenge that I have had yet to date. And when you know you have got a deep reservoir of strength that you haven't even tapped into yet, there is nothing that you are not capable of getting through in this world.
Well, I definitely resonate with that because I had the same experience losing my father when I was 20. And it does shake you, especially when they are our foundation, right? And somebody that we look up to. So I definitely feel you there. So thank you for sharing that. So we're talking about how to build resilience in uncertain times, and we're focusing really on giving you some content and some nuggets on how we can really build and structure a really strong foundation for emotional well-being. And at the same time, we're business owners, right? We're entrepreneurs. So what I'd like to ask you now is, how do you create, what are the tips that you would tell the audience on how you create emotional well-being for yourself in your business? Because we know whatever you do through emotions, it's going to show up on your bottom line, right? So, Wajia?
In my opinion, emotionally resilient teams aren't built through strategy. They're built through safety. And safety doesn't come from knowing all the answers. It comes from someone going first, saying, you know what, I don't have it all together today. I'm not feeling okay. Being able to allow, that's what I've seen is when resilient teams, if you want resilient teams, start with honesty. Let people show up with their full selves, with the parts of them that are scared, the parts of them that are tired, the parts that are messy. And when you allow people to feel safe enough to stop performing, that's when you start to see them rise. Letting people just be. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think it starts with authenticity. It starts with just being real with who you are. And I think as leaders, if people see that we're just as human as the next person, you know, being a leader just basically means you're a few steps ahead of the next person who's coming, you know, after you. So it's just really being authentic, being vulnerable, and being real. So if something goes wrong in the business, that 3-step formula that I spoke about, it's accepting it. Realizing that, okay, things have acknowledging it first, accepting it, and then embracing it and finding a way. So I think if we as leaders can acknowledge that, okay, we've got a bit of a situation here, that's not a weakness. Because I think most of us think, you know, let's cover it up. Let's act like it's all together. But none of us are perfect. And none of us always have it together. So I think just being real, being vulnerable, accepting that things are not going great at the moment, accepting it, acknowledging it, and then getting on with it. That helps a lot, in my experience. That's it.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Micaela, you mentioned what tools. So I can say that I wake up and the first thing I do is I just come with gratitude that other people my age or younger or older didn't get to. So I think that just initially just sends the right energy of gratitude. And even, as you mentioned, you know, being authentic with yourself is falling in love with your journey, your specific journey. Fall in love with you and all of your imperfections, right? But yes, having that gratitude that, you know, I get to do it again. So what? I don't care what happened yesterday. It could, the shit, pardon my French, hit the fan, right? Okay, what can today bring? Could today be the day that I turn this around? Just by that question, like Micaela said, the questions you ask yourself, the things that you embody every single day, you get to choose. You get to decide. You get to decide the energy you get to bring, even when the storm hits, even when you feel like crumbling, but something inside you is telling you, have that courage, keep going. And the strategy that just lives in all of us is our higher power. For me, it's God. And I think that when we have our faith bigger than our problem, bigger than our issues, bigger than the inconveniences or the annoyances that we go through, is always going to be my go-to. There's even been research that has shown when you pray, even in gratitude, or you say, help me find a way, help me, you never know what phone call you're going to get, and you're going to be like, how many of you have ever had that? Oh my gosh, I was just thinking there was no way, and all of a sudden this thing happened, or somebody came into your life, and you least expected it. That's because of how you started your day, with that energy, with that gratitude, with that energy of that, you know what, no matter what happens today, I'm going to get through this. And I think that is going to be your biggest strategy, is fall in love with your journey and ensuring that you know that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay, regardless of what that is. And then prayer is so powerful, and having that connection with God.
Thank you.
The best strategy I find is alignment, and it's alignment with yourself. So every day I'm the same. I have my routine that I start every day with, and the first thing I do is sit in silent meditation. And the purpose of that is not to not have the thoughts, because it's completely impossible. We are always thinking. But it's to train my mind, just like you would train any other kind of muscle, to be able to silence out the outside distractions, the outside noise. If we're constantly focused on what is going on out here, your attention is taken away from where your true power lies. There is nothing more powerful in the face of this earth than someone who is aligned with their inner seat of power. To get there, you need to know yourself. To get there, you then need to silence out all of the noise, and you need to retreat inward. Get comfortable with the silence. It's the only way that you're ever going to be able to get to know who you truly are and what you are truly capable of. Because when you sit in that silence, that's when the Holy Spirit, that's when divine source, that's when God speaks through you. And at the end of the day, that is the purpose of every single one of us. It's to be a servant, to be of service. You were created by the Creator of all things to come forth and create. That needs to be done from your authentic place of connection.
Wonderful. And I love that you spoke about alignment, because we cannot have alignment without emotional intelligence and emotional well-being. You can arrive to alignment when you really truly know yourself from the inside out. You know what makes you tick, you know what bothers you, you know what gets you riled up, and that comes with that
And that's
grounding.
the purpose of alignment. Yeah.
Exactly, in that grounding in your emotional body, which, by the way, is what really guides us and leads us. And I love, Diana, how you talked about courage, because courage, going back to Dr. David Hawkins and his scale of consciousness that I talked a lot about at last year's summit, courage is actually the delineator. It is the emotion that separates the negative, low-vibrating, disempowering emotions from the most higher, empowering, positive emotions. And courage is what allows us to empower ourselves. That is the process of courage, and that's why we're here, right? This is a women's empowerment community. It is a women's empowerment summit, and empowerment is what we get to do. So thank you so much. So yes, thank you. So we're at the end here. So before we go, I know some of you have some gifts to share with us and ways that the audience can connect with you. So let me see, I've got Laura here. Tell them a little bit about how they can connect with you.
Okay, yeah, this is this is a guided journey, so it's an invitation for you to begin a journey with alignment, but not just alignment with yourself, but also with the divine feminine. We're here at Global Woman, and the divine feminine is an energy that is rising right now for a reason. So you can scan this QR code and you will receive the guide. There is a morning and evening ritual. So I invite you to align and invite and invoke in the divine feminine within you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wajiha.
Hi. You can connect with me on morigami.com. All my handles are there for social media. And if something opened in you today, even just a little, I have two things for you. First is a guided audio. It's just 6 minutes, but it's called Unfolding the Story You've Been Carrying. And it's raw, it's real, and it's there for you to keep. And the second thing I'm offering is the first 15 people who sign up is a free session, one-on-one, private. It's the first part of the RTT journey. It's not to fix, it's to start listening to parts of you that didn't have a voice before. I am an amazing and brilliant hypnotherapist, not because I have all the answers, but because I allow your self-conscious to feel safe enough to unfold. So if that speaks to you, please connect.
Great. Diana Pagano.
Thank you. So this was a little last minute, so excuse me, it's a lot of words there. But some of you might have this in your bags, some of you might not. I'm excited to launch my group coaching, one of many that I've had, very successful one. If you're ready to make things happen on a different level than maybe ever before, I encourage you to go to that QR code and check it out. There's also a free newsletter. If you go to my homepage, you can get on there. I don't do one-on-one coaching anymore like I used to, but I am offering only for global women a discount to the coaching, and it's only an intimate group for 12 people. I've noticed in the past when I've had more people than that, I think it needs a real personal space, and there's been high impact usually when you have a smaller group. But I am offering a discount as well when you go into the QR code, and also one-on-one session of one time just before the group coaching. So
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Julie.
Oh, yeah, last but not least, I hope. I've shared with you parts of my story, parts of my journey. I've shared with you the pain that I went through. But how could this single woman come from absolutely nothing, from homelessness to owning a multi-million-pound property portfolio, to getting right to the top of my dreams, to becoming a solicitor? I share all of that in my book, which is called Unbreakable. As women, we all go through pain at one point or the other. But this book helps show you how you can come from your pain to your purpose, because life will present situations that could bend us. But you, my love, you are unbreakable.
Thank you so much. Well, we've come to the conclusion.
Sorry. I forgot to ask them to scan the QR code.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, thank you. Please do scan the QR code and get a free copy of my book at the back for the first 20 people.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we've come to the end of our panel session. Wasn't it a powerful session? Great. So thank you so much, ladies.